I read another book. This is a really good one. Influencer, The New Science of Leading Change. Now, I don't know who the real author is here, but I saw Joseph Grenny. I saw a video clip of him, and I went out and got this book. And let me just tell you, this is one of the best books I've read in a while. If you have children, if you have a spouse, if you have employees, if you are if you are an employee, if you're in any type of religious work, if you're in politics, I don't care what you're in, this book about getting people to change their minds and change their behaviors, actually change their behaviors is the bigger one. It's an unbelievable book. I'm going to make this a really, really short review. Some dingbat complained about one of my last reviews, saying that I didn't have key points or whatever. I didn't make it a formal, I didn't make it a formal um, book review for him. Well, I mean, you can get book reviews on Goodreads, on Wikipedia, just by Googling it. That's not the point of what I'm doing. I'm just trying to show you the type of books that I read. And I read a lot of books. So if I read one that's good, and look, 501 customer reviews, 4.5 stars, this is definitely a book. It's kind of written in the style of Outliers. It bounces around from one story to the next to the next. They have about 4 or 5, maybe 6 unbelievable influencers, and they study what these people all over the world put into action to get people to change their behaviors. And there's one story in there in particular that I'd never heard of. I think her name is Mimi Silbert. She runs Delancey House in San Francisco. And you can just search for Delancey House in San Francisco, and you will find articles. This woman reforms criminals and does all sorts of crazy things. She brings them into a home with no locks, and she has Crips and Bloods and white supremacists and blacks and Latinos share rooms and all join hands and sing Kumbaya and get along. So just for Mimi Silbert, or whatever her name is, in Delancey House in San Francisco, just for that story alone, this is worth it. But again, if you're trying to sell something, if you're trying to convince someone to do something, when I have kids, you might see a rotten one behind me. I got another rotten one downstairs. And I have a wonderful wife who needs to be molded here and there. And I had so many takeaways from this book. Let me just give you one. They talk about the limits in this book, Influence. They talk about the limits of verbal persuasion. And that's kind of what I do. I make an argument, and it's ironclad, it's waterproof, and I expect everyone to roll over. And they give several examples in here of people making unbelievably, uh, perfect, impeccable verbal arguments and getting people not to change their behavior at all. And so that was kind of like a light bulb moment for me. All right, I'll leave it at that. Check out this book, Influencer, The Power to Change Anything, by this slew of authors. I'm not sure who the main one is, but it's definitely, definitely worth your reading no matter almost what you're doing.